Why did you want to publish this specific piece with context?
This specific piece on question answer design in jury voir dire came about as something where what's occurring is indirect. So the issue of race, a really important issue when you think about criminal justice, in my case in the US, it came about not because questions were being asked, but because questions were not being asked. And so this seemed to be the data that we had less on the topic of the larger paper that we are currently trying to publish, but more something that, well, it would get lost if it was not published by itself, and that the topic of racial biases within voir dire, within jury selection, are we getting juries that don't have racial prejudice? That seemed to be something that was, in my opinion, important specifically for the public to hear about and for the public to realize what courts can currently and what they might in the future do to remedy possible issues regarding this. My co-author, Professor Stephen Clayman, who is a faculty member at UCLA, has always been interested in getting ideas about, interaction out to the general public. And what he teaches once a year is a course on talk and social institutions. So talk in venues such as doctors' offices, courts, and what he had done in the past was that because this type of the technical literature that we research wasn't available for a public consumption, he had written a book doing so. And so a venue like Context is completely up the alley of the type of way he also wants to get the knowledge of this project out.
So walk us through the main argument. What do you want readers to take away from your article?
The main argument that we want readers to take away from this article is that within any situation, people are faced with multiple pressures. So you have within a court when lawyers or judges are conducting voir dire, or jurors are answering questions, each person faces a situation that has inherent social tensions. So for the court officials, they need to ask taboo things, and yet there's a pressure not to offend. And for jurors, they want to answer candidly. I think that most jurors really do want to do that, but they know that if they admit a bias, that's very antisocial. That's not a very socially unstigmatized thing to do. And so this is the logic of why, certain things might be asked. Well, do you know the defendant? That's not really stigmatized. But on the other hand, are you, racist? That probably will be more. So the point of the article is, even though these tensions exist, there is clear evidence that people have the skills to overcome them. And that is what happens here in the two examples that we discuss in the paper. The jurors themselves indirectly bring up potential issues of racism, potential issues of racial bias that they have, and the judges very sensitively probe them before dismissing the jurors. So this is not to say that there is a recommendation of one should do these questions, one should not do these questions, and that is a debate we discuss within the paper from legal scholars, but that interactionally, people should be able to handle what is going on if done in a sensitive, sensible way.
How do you think your ideas are relevant for the broader public?
So I think the ideas in this paper are relevant for the broader public because courts are relevant to the broader public. We have, public debate about are courts fair? Is the criminal justice system fair? And that is pervasive within newspapers and the media. So that is not to say that this article is a end-all, tell-all, has the answer, but I think it adds to that debate of a methodology and a data source that might be of interest to assessing, are court proceedings fair, and how do we measure that?